So 3 days study planner for the taxation exam. So before exam, we have 3 days gap, right? In fact, people call 3.5 days gap. So how to plan this 3.5 days? Very simple. The maximum time that is available for you, productive time according to me, is 40 to 42 hours approximately. Every day you are having 12, 12, 12. On the day of exam, you may be having some 4 hours. So literally it turns to 40 to 42 hours. Remember, taxation is the lengthiest paper in the entire CA intern. In terms of number of coaching hours also, taxation is the highest, okay, which occupies, because income tax requires some 110, 120 hours, GST also require 110, 120 hours. So taxation is the most lengthiest paper among all the 6 papers in CA intern. So you have to be very careful. The most important, now by the way, what I'm going to talk now, I'm going to talk about its weightage and what are the 3 steps that you have to follow in the next 3 days, and what are the crux topics. What are the topics that are very crux in income tax, and what are the topics that are very crux, like in the sense, the very tricky topics in GST. For GST, Mahamood Sir video is there as a continuation to the same video. You can see the timestamp. So continuation. And what are the resources? First, you must keep ready. First, make the resources ready with you. Then start the game. First, main materials. Whatever the main material. Some of you might have followed Institute ICS study material. So keep that ready. If at all you are Shrestha student, our income tax main material and concept book and workbook both are there. Keep it ready. And we have already given amendments material and supplementary material. Keep that also ready with you. You can download these materials from our website. Open Shrestha CACMA website. Open PDF resources. Inside that, select group 1. Inside that, just a minute. Inside that, paper 3. You can see here income tax materials. All these resources must be with you right now. And GST. You see GST also, main material, running notes, supplementary material, marathon material is also given. Now here, you can also, you can simply click here to watch marathon classes also. You can simply click here to watch a marathon classes. So inside this, you will find income tax part 1 marathon. You can also find somewhere below income tax part 2 also. So I will be placing it in the right, just above, just a minute. So income tax part 1 and part 2, GST marathons were given. And in this part 1, part 2 to marathon itself, amendments were also added. Getting it? For GST, you see, we have added GST marathon and we even have added GST amendments. You can see here, this is GST amendments video. So you need to watch these 3 videos. In income tax, these 2. And even headwise amendments videos also given, but not required. If at all you're watching this marathon directly, you need not watch amendments video separately. You just watch this marathon, make the resources. Now, by the way, most importantly, so I don't know how many of you have observed this. Income, actually, normally for every paper, 20% weightage. 120 marks is the paper, 100 you have to attempt. But taxation is going to be 130 marks. Look at MTP 1, MTP 2. 125 to 130 marks weightage is given. MTP 1, 129 marks is a total question paper. GST 65 marks, income tax 64 marks. There 14 marks choice, there 15 marks choice, 100 marks you have to attempt. So round figure, 65 marks they will be testing, 50 marks is what ultimately you have to write. The most important thing for taxation paper is concerned always, you must solve MTPs and RTPs. We have 2 MTPs, right? You must solve 2 MTPs and RTPs. Wait, don't directly start with MTP, RTP. No, don't do that immediately. First, step number 1, you have to cover first priority chapters. Revise this slowly, neatly, thoroughly. Taxation paper requires lots of observation. Observation of the provision is very important. It's very minute, tricks, in book MTPs and all you just see, they just test one very, they don't specifically tell you what they're testing. So some adjustments, hidden adjustment will be there. They'll give you details about residential status. You need to figure out what resident it is. Accordingly, TDS provision applicable or not. You need to figure out that. But don't worry, I'll guide you. Just watch this video till the end. You will get a clear clarity how to proceed with the taxation paper next 3 days. Luckily that we are having these many days before taxation. We are very fortunate. So make use of these 3 days and plan getting exemption in the entire taxation paper. Step number 2, once you complete first priority chapters in both income tax and GST, once you revise it thoroughly along with amendments, everything, then immediately you need to solve MTPs and RTPs. Don't worry, we are uploading MTP, RTP videos on the YouTube itself. You will find in the next 1 day, by tomorrow itself, you will find MTP, RTP videos mostly. Today I'm doing this video I'm doing on 5th May, 6th May, 7th May maximum. by 7th, before 7th May, you will find MTPs, RTPs of entire, income tax and GST all put together. And so do watch them if possible, or if at all you don't want to like sit on that, you can at least solve it. And if time available, last priority chapters. Now, what is this first priority chapter, last priority chapter is all about? I have opened for you this skill wise weightage or section wise weightage, this thing. Inside that, one topic I will tell you, please ignore it immediately. Initially, you ignore it. You think of this revision later on. Advanced tax, TDS provision, TCS provision, filing of return, all this. This will occupy 15 to 20% of the weightage. Approximately 10 marks weightage will come from these topics. Out of 65 marks, approximately 20%, let us assume 12 marks weightage is what maximum from these. But the time it will take and the effort it takes and the risk it has, all are very high. The risk is also very high. TDS topic and all, so many sections, but there's so much risk is there. So many hidden observations, hidden tricks and all examiner can play easily. So keep this as a last priority. The most important, first you cover basic concepts where we will be discussing rates of tax, all these rates of tax concepts, surcharge, marginal relief, all that. Then immediately you cover, of course, basic concepts, residential status, of course, no doubt in the same order. Heads of income you cover. After that, provisions relating to clubbing and carry forward. Then finally you have to come to total income problems. Like more specifically, what you need to cover. Crux topics I'll tell you, especially. First, don't start with 115 BAC. Many students will do a mistake of starting with 115 BAC. First, do rates of tax, surcharge concept, marginal relief concept, agriculture, aggregation concept. I have covered in my revision. If at all you are following my revision class on the YouTube, smoothly you just go. I just showed you, right? The playlist. Open CA Ram Harsha YouTube channel. Go to playlist. Inside that, May 2024 CA Inter Marathons. Inside that, part 1 income tax. You just go in the same flow. Believe me, you will get a lot of confidence. So many students start with 115 BSc. No, don't do that. Okay. Now, rates of tax, surcharge, marginal relief, aggregation. After that, residential status. Inside residential status, section 9 is there. Income accrued or deemed to accrue or erase. Ignore that. Section 7 is there. Income received or deemed to be received. Ignore that. Getting it? These two provisions you ignore. Don't read it now. So, remaining entire residential status, section 6 or section 5, remaining entire residential status, you study. Then, you do cover heads of income. Then clubbing and set off and carry forward. Then chapter 6A deduction. Then finally you should start with 115 BSc. Then you should come to 115 BSc, because once you revise all this, you will have in hand. Anyhow, I covered it in amendments class also, but it is also there in the amendments very clearly. In the same order I have covered. Then you need to discuss alternate minimum tax. Along with this only I have explained even 10AA section also. So that also. I hope every one of you remember, in 10AA there is an amendment. Within 6 months from the end of the financial year, if you are claiming 10AA deduction, within 6 months from the end of the financial year, you must receive the entire export turnover in foreign currency, convertible foreign exchange. Only to that extent of turnover only exemption is available. Anyhow, in the MTP one, a problem is already there. Anyhow, I'm going to highlight that in the MTP discussion. Next. So now very important thing. I have already explained in the marathon also. They'll be giving you in every question when you're solving, look at the first, when you're reading the question, first look at the last line of the question. What they're exactly asking. Are they asking you to compute? I'm talking about income tax. Are they asking you to compute considering default tax regime or not default tax regime? You should be first make sure what they're asking exactly. First identify. Then when you're reading the question, you naturally filter the adjustments. Getting it? Anyhow, I will teach you that in the MTP itself. So, the SSC has exercised the option of shifting out of DTR. Exercised the option of shifting out of DTR means he is not choosing DTR. The SSC has not exercised the option of shifting out of the DTR means he is going with the default tax regime. So that's how the sentences will be there. So please pay attention to it. And now in residential status, one crux point I will tell you is, 180 days logic, 120 days logic. Where 182 should be applied, where 120 should be applied, be careful. Getting it? So then, of course, we have 60 days logic also, condition B2. Apart from this, residential status, deemed resident, 6 1-year provision is also there. All these points have clearly covered in the marathon. Don't worry. Getting it? Generally, for all subjects, what I recommend is reading is most important. But for income tax, you can happily trust the marathon. Go with the marathon, watch that revision class and simultaneously do cover your book, whatever the book that you have followed. If at all you are a Shrestha student, blindly follow the marathon and the book and amendments book, and whatever the MTP video I'm going to release, all that. So first, before you watch MTP, RTP, first what is your duty? Finish first priority chapters, revise slowly, thoroughly, then only you should come to MTP, RTP. Now, by the way, this is last priority chapter, advanced tax, TDS, return of income. In this, no, memory part is so high. Okay, this is last priority. Rest all other first priority. Rest all other first priority. Then, same way in GST also, GST, the paper can be extreme possibility. You see this segment, levy and collection and basic concepts, the classification, place of supply, time of supply, value of supply, input tax, mixed supply, application of GST, exemptions and composition, all put together, minimum 50%, maximum 80%. We don't know exactly within what percentage they will test. It is not 15 to 20% like what we have seen in income tax. 50% to do 80%, is so much variation. So I spoke to Mahamood sir also. What he told is time of supply, accounts and records and returns. These three topics you can take last chance. Only if you have time, after revising remaining topics, after revising MTP and RTP, after understanding them thoroughly, still if you have time, then come and touch these three topics. Remember, my objective for you is attempt 80 marks plus. 130 marks is there. 50 marks, don't even think about it. 80 marks plus, if you're able to attempt, you can secure 55 plus. It all depends upon perfection. Trying to attempt for 100 marks just for the sake of attempting 100 and doing mistakes and securing 20 is worst decision. So instead of that, plan 80 marks. Try to get 50 marks plus. Getting the point? Now again, paper pattern is going to be approximately for 10 marks, these MCQs will be there. 40 marks descriptive paper is going to be there. Getting it? Not 10 marks, 15 marks approximately. 15 marks MCQs are going to be there, and 35 marks approximately the descriptive, nothing but problematic part will be there. That's it. This is how a paper is going to come for you. So be careful. I think if you look at the MTP, even up to 20 marks were tested for MCQs. Approximately even 20 marks were tested. I will show you just now one MTP. I will show you. This is just one MTP. This is just one MTP. You see here approximately 6 marks, and another 6 marks is given, 12 plus 2 plus 1, almost like 15 marks MCQs were there. Of course, in GST also 15, totally 30 marks MCQ. That's the paper. So 30 marks means 100 marks descriptive they are giving. Out of that, 30 marks choice is there. For income tax plus GST put together, 30 marks choice is there. 70 marks descriptive you have to write. So these are the points you have to keep in mind. These are the points you have to keep in mind. Anyhow, just carefully you read. Don't hurry up yourself. We have solid time next 3 days. Make use of it wisely. Generally, when we have 1 day before exam, that's not, within 1 day revising entire, this is very big challenging thing. But luckily we are having 3 days. So make use of these 3 days neatly, like decently. So don't hurry up yourself in, turning the pages. It's not how fast you're revising. It's how neat, how precisely you're revising. That is important. That's it. I hope I spoke about all the issues. So this is the paper pattern going to be. So day 1, day 2, day 3, please allocate 12 hours each day minimum. If at all possible, increase it to even 14 also. So 40 to 42 hours of time you're having. That's it. I hope you're clear. Continuation, watch Mahamood Sir video also, where he is going to talk about crux topics within GST. And by the way, most importantly, as I already told you, open CA Ram Harsha. Just a minute. Open CA Ram Harsha YouTube channel. You will find May 24 Marathons CA Inter. Inside that you will find paper 4. You see here, part 1, part 2 income tax, and GST also we have 2 parts videos and amendments videos also given. So if you are able to cover these videos, MTP, RTP videos which we are giving, I'm telling you, you will have lots of confidence on the day of exam. That's it. So don't worry, don't fear. Enough time is there. Do well. All the very best. Continue watching Mahamood Sir discussion.
Hello my dear students, hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys are all perfectly fine. I hope that you guys are doing great in your examinations. So now you have successfully given your 2 exams. So now the next exam is going to be taxation, and for this taxation paper you are having a plenty of time. So if you could properly plan this time, whatever time that is available for you, if you could properly plan this time and if you have a proper approach for your preparation, trust me guys, you can score very good amount of marks in the taxation paper. And taxation paper could be savior when it comes to scoring the aggregate. So you have plenty of time, don't worry about it. So just follow one proper approach. So I'm going to share with you the important concepts which you have to prepare, how you can utilize this time, which chapters to focus more, and what and all you are supposed to do. So I will give you proper approach. If you follow that, trust me, you are going to get very good amount of marks. So I will be covering the GST part, what and all things you are supposed to concentrate in the GST. That is what I am going to concentrate. And taxation part, direct taxation part will be taken up by Harsha sir. So I think he would have already explained that to you. So but anyhow, so let me directly come to the point. I know time is very scarce, but we will try to make sure that we are going to utilize this time in a best possible manner. So without any delay further, so let me tell you a few common points. Let me tell you first a few basic things which I wanted to bring it to your attention. Guys, the first and foremost important thing. Number one, don't go for the examination without going through amendments. Amendments is compulsory. We have even released a supplementary material. Even we have uploaded a supplementary material related videos also on our YouTube channel. So compulsorily 100% you are required to go through the amendments. So definitely 100%, please make sure that you are watching that video. If you have watched it already, but make sure that you are revising that amendments once and then only you go for the examination. Trust me, from the amendments, one compulsory question will be there. One compulsory question is damn going to be there in the question paper from the amendments. Don't go for the examination without reading the amendments. Number two, the other sources which you have to cover. Number one, MTP you have to cover. Two series of MTP question papers and answers that are available in the ICA website. I think you should have seen it already by now. If you have not yet seen it, you have to see that. You have to have a look at MTP series 1 and series 2. Both the MTPs you have to go through it compulsorily. It is compulsory. And also along with that, RTP also you are required to go through it. So this is the second thing which I wanted to bring it to your attention. So number one, compulsory amendments. Number two series of the MTPs, and then RTP, whatever has been released, please go through it. Why? Because if you solve the MTPs, that will give you the you will become familiar with the question paper pattern. So how the questions will look like. Mostly whatever pattern of questions are there in the MTPs, there are high chances those pattern of questions only will get repeated in the main examination also. So my humble request, please go through MTPs. Both series of MTPs, try to have a look at the questions, answers. If time permits you, even try to solve it once, provided time permits. I'm not insisting on solving it once. I'm insisting only if the time permits. If you have plenty of time, if you have already done multiple revisions, you have a lot of time, you are very confident that you doesn't require much time for going through the entire content. If you are so much confident about it, try to solve the MTP once on your own. So that is my one more request. So this is two important things which you have to cover. Then coming to the chapters, coming to the most important chapters. See, most important chapters I have already told you earlier also, but I'm telling you once again, the most important chapters, I will tell you, instead of telling you the most important chapters, which chapters you can keep it as a last priority, that I will tell you. Which chapters you can keep it as a last priority, I can tell you. So number one, the last priority chapters are accounts and records. The last priority chapter, accounts and records. See, why I am telling accounts and records is, you might question, sir, accounts and records is a chapter added newly under new scheme, right? I agree with that. But when we look at the question paper pattern of the MTPs, I'm unable to find very significant amount of questions from the accounts and records. So I will ask you to keep it as a last priority. Number two, returns chapter. This chapter returns also, you try to keep it as a last priority. And also time of supply. So I will do one thing. This I will make it as 2. This I will make it as 3. So one more thing is there. So this time of supply. So just give a quick glance of the time of supply, that to keep it at the end. So only 1 or 2 interlinked points will be tested from the time of supply, but still you can have a look at it once. So these 3 chapters you keep it as a last priority. If time permits, if you cover all the remaining chapters, if you, after solving MTPs, RTPs, after watching the amendments, after going through the amendments, still if you have time left, then you come and have a look at the last 3 chapters. So these are the last priority chapters. Now talking about the important chapters I have already given here. See, whatever chapters I have mentioned here, that is actually the important chapters list. And in that chapters also, I have highlighted few concepts which are going to be very, very important. Before the examination, compulsorily you have to be thorough with these concepts. When I say thorough, you have to be 100% confident about these concepts. So I have given here name of the chapter. Under name of each of the chapter, I have given particular concepts also. These concepts you have to be 100% thorough. You have to have complete grip of these concepts, whatever I am going to list down. So make sure your first priority should be covering these concepts. From these chapters, you have to be first covering these concepts. Once you are done with these concepts, then cover the remaining content from these chapters. After that, also, if you have still time left, then come and refer these 3 chapters. Okay, so first priority should be within this chapter, these concepts. After that, the balance content from these specified chapters here. After that also, if you have any time left, then come to this last 3 chapters. So without any delay further, so let me tell you the most important concepts which you have to be thorough, 100% confident, damn sure you have to be thorough about these concepts. So what are they? Number 1, when it comes to supply under GST, I have written it here. I will share this document also with you. So when it comes to supply under GST, the most important thing you have to be 100% confident about is Schedule 1, which talks about in which circumstances, even though there is no consideration, which kind of activities will be treated as supply. Those activities which are treated as supply even without consideration. So Schedule 1, 4 paragraphs will be there, and there will be related content regarding that 4 paragraphs that you have to compulsorily cover. Then Schedule 3, which activities will be neither treated as supply of goods nor treated as supply of services. Schedule 3, damn important. This you have to be 100% confident about Schedule 3. Then the concept of composite supply and mixed supply. This also you have to compulsorily go through it. So these are the three concepts which you have to be thorough under the supply chapter. Then when it comes to charge of GST, when you come to the charge of GST, in the charge of GST, the most important concepts which you have to be 100% thorough is, in case of GTA services, when reverse charge mechanism will become applicable, and what about the services which are provided by directors, services provided by directors to the company, when they will be taxable, when they will be exempted, when reverse charge mechanism, when forward charge mechanism. So that content also you have to refer. Then what about reverse charge mechanism in the case of renting of motor vehicles? This concept also you have to thoroughly cover. So from the charge of GST, these 3 are the important concepts which you have to be 100% thorough. Next one, coming to exemptions, looking at the question paper pattern, looking at the MTP pattern, I'm able to say that these 2 are very frequently getting tested. Services which are provided to government, when they will be exempted. Services which are provided by the government, when they will be exempted. This is the first thing which you have to cover from this chapter, exemptions. Then when it comes to registration, the most important concepts are section number 22, especially limits. You have to remember the limits. When 10 lakh rupees of limit will be available, when 20 lakh limit will be applicable, when 40 lakhs limit will be applicable. That limits you have to particularly remember. And also when 40 lakh, even though you are exclusively engaged in the supply of goods, but when you will not be eligible for 40 lakhs, when your limit will be reduced to 20 lakhs, so that all related content regarding the calculation of that applicable limits, which is given under section number 22, compulsorily you have to memorize it. This part you have to memorize. You have to mug it up, guys. I'm telling you. Limits you have to mug up along with the list of goods. Also, they will give a certain list of goods they will give. If which you produce, you will not be able to get that limit of 40 lakh rupees. So that you have to memorize it completely. Section number 24, compulsory registration. Which kind of persons are required to undergo compulsory registration? Mug it up. 100% you have to mug it up. Rule 10A, in the case of registration also, within what time limit you are required to furnish the bank account details. Regarding this Rule 10A, there is an amendment also. So Rule 10A is also once again the top priority. Coming to the next chapter, value of supply. When it comes to value of supply, 100% chapter you have to be confident. Entire chapter, value of supply, 100% complete chapter you have to cover. In this chapter, don't take any choice. Value of supply chapter completely you have to cover. 100% of the chapter you have to cover. And if you ask me, very simple chapter, huge weightage from this particular chapter. So that's why I'm telling you specifically here, from the value of supply, cover 100% of the syllabus. Next, when it comes to input tax credit, the next most important chapter is input tax credit. When it comes to input tax credit, section number 17, don't leave it. In the section number 17, each and every subsection, each and every clause in that subsection, you have to remember it. Especially blocked credit concept, when the credit will be blocked, in which cases circumstances will be blocked. 17 subsection 5, that is going to be damn important. But apart from that, entire section number 17 is going to be very, very important. 100% be thorough with that section number 17. Then coming to tax invoice, credit and debit notes. So in that particular chapter, e-invoice, it is going to be very important. Then section number 31, which talks about what is the time limit for issuing tax invoice. In case of supply of goods, what is the time limit? In case of supply of services, what is the time limit? In case of continuous supply of goods, continuous supply of services, what is the time limit for issuing tax invoice? That is going to be very, very important. Then the concept of delivery challan. There will be one small concept called delivery challan, that also you have to cover it. Then coming to the e-way bill, in the e-way bill chapter, the chapter is actually very small. From that chapter also, the most important content is what is the validity of the e-way bill? How long the e-way bill will remain valid? They will give one criteria for every 200 kilometers one day. If extra 200 kilometers is getting added, one more day will get added. That validity of e-way bill is going to be very, very important. Then coming to the payment of taxes chapter, the order of utilization of ITC. whatever input tax credit you have, what is the order of utilization. Like first ITC balance should be adjusted against ITC. Whatever balance you have left, that you can use it for CGST or SGST in whatever manner we want. CGST can be used for CGST. If any balance is left out, that you can use it for IGST. Same applies for SGST. So that whatever manner of utilization of input tax credit is there, that is going to be very, very important. Try to solve some 2-3 questions before you go for the examination. Don't just read the provision, even try to solve the questions as well. Then coming to the next important chapter, the newly added chapter in the new scheme, place of supply. In the place of supply, from section number 12 subsection 3 till 12 subsection 14, each and every subsection lying there, 12 subsection 3 to 12 subsection 14, cover all that sections. Nothing but 12 subsection 3 to 12 subsection 14 talks about how to determine place of supply in case of specified services. So 12 subsection 3 to 12 subsection 14 cover all that subsections. Then when it comes to the TDS and TCS chapter, in the TDS chapter, you covers 51 subsection 1, in which circumstances TDS will become applicable, which kind of recipients are required to deduct TDS, and also what percentage. And they will say one specific case where TDS is not required to be deducted, where the location of the supplier and place of supply fall in one state, which is different from the location of the recipient, then TDS should not be deducted. So that one point will be there. Everything I have covered in 51 subsection 1. Please go through that 51 subsection 1. Then coming to the TCS concept, here also 52 subsection 1, which will talk about applicability of TCS. All that provisions will be there. That 52 subsection 1 also have to be thorough. So these are the list of chapters, and from that list of chapters I have given you a list of concepts. First priority, top priority, these concepts. After you are done with all these concepts from all the chapters, then cover rest of the concepts under these chapters, whatever I have given here. Once you are done with that also, finally last come to this chapter, time of supply, accounts and records and returns. So please follow this approach, and don't forget about the amendments, MTPs, RTPs, and wherever required you can take the help of our marathon. Our marathon is so comprehensive. Even we have a summary notes for the marathon also. So take the help of that summary notes of the marathon, watch our marathon videos. You will all feel very comfortable when you give your examination. Okay, so that's all from my side, guys. I don't want to waste much of your time. So all the very best. Wish you the very best in the examination. Thank you so much. Bye.